Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about contacts. This is the most basic stuff that comes with the system itself, but you have to understand how they work, all the nuances that comes inside of a contact itself. I'm going to run you through an actual contact record, how to import the contacts, how to filter contacts. Smart lists are a huge thing when it comes to the system. So understanding how all that works is going to really benefit you in the use of the system. So let's start off with the basics. First, we have adding a contact. Adding a contact is a manual way of doing it. You can literally come in here, name, email, all the way down, and you hit save. There's nothing more to it than that. Once you create the contact, it's going to automatically show up in the little box right here. Go ahead and click on the contact itself, and you can get into more details. So let's go ahead and run through the ins and outs of what a contact actually consists of. On the left side, we have what I call the contact details, the inputted data. So anything that a person submits in a form, anything you manually enter into the system, anything that is pulled in, it's going to show up on the left side over here. As you can see, we have all of the basic stuff that comes in here. You have the folders, that I call them folders in the system. Anything that's customized, custom fields, everything shows up here on the left side. We also have the tags. Any tags that's applied to the user just shows up over here just like this. This particular person just purchased the 7-day sequence, things like that. If they've been inside any automations, you can actually see if they're actively in an automation or if they've already finished one. This is where you can come and see that information. Opportunities, if they're actively in an opportunity, you can see that over here. Same with courses and offers. If you've actually sold a course, you can see that over here and you can find out if they're there. You can also grant them access right here. So if you just have this one-off situation where you're like, I want to give them this free course, you can do that right here. Easy enough. The last section down here is actually the do not disturb. Anybody that opts out of your marketing stuff is going to have this checked. So if they're like, I'm not receiving anything, this is probably the first thing you want to do is just see if they opted out accidentally, uncheck it, get them opted back in. The middle section here is where the communication happens. Because there's no communication on this particular user, there's nothing in the middle. Anytime they SMS you, they email you, you send them an email, any sort of communication is going to pop up in the middle. It's also going to allow you to respond back to them. Let's see if we can get one real quick that's actually got some communication on it. This is what the communication area looks like right here. So you can literally send them emails. If you have SMS, WhatsApp, or any of those things connected to the system, you can respond to all of them directly from this area. Very handy. The owner assigned, if you're using salespeople over here at the top, this is perfect. Go ahead and you can assign them to that. This comes in handy when you're doing workflows, other automations. It's the task management stuff. Perfect for assigning salespeople to that. Over here on the right is where the rest of the stuff happens. First, we have the activity log. Activity log is everything that happened when the user did. So what actions have they taken so far? What page did they visit? What form did they opt into? What phone number did they call? Anything you can think of that's an activity will generally show up over here. This is a great way to see the customer journey and knowing what's going on with that particular customer. The next section over is the tasks. This is internal. If you're using task management to assign to your staff or anything like that, this is a great way to assign tasks to them and have them mark it as done, but view tasks that are available for the system. Such as, please call this person back. That's a good task. Notes, also internal. You can add notes, things that maybe you had your sales guy talk to someone on the phone. They want to add custom notes. I talked to John Smith on the phone. I tried to sell him this product. It did not work. Great way to keep notes, track of things going on. That way everybody knows what's going on with everybody. Appointments, if they booked a appointment with you, it's going to show up right here. Documents, any internal stuff you want to upload. If you're uploading proposals, things you want to just keep. A lot of people use external services like Google Drive and things like that, but this is an internal way to keep documents and store them here. Any payments received from that customer, whether it's a product you're selling, a course you're selling, will show up right here. And associations, not going to get into today, but you can actually associate them with other businesses and stuff like that, but that would be a different training. Let's go ahead and exit out back into the main area here. Next, let's go over our toolbar at the top of the contact section. First, we have the add to the opportunity. Opportunities will be a different training. However, that adds them into here. So when you click on your contact, come over here and add pipeline. Go ahead and add the action name. I'm going to show you where the action name pops up in a minute. This is internal just for you. Go ahead and select the pipeline you want to add them to, and then you select the stage you want to add them to, and then if there's any specific fields, then you hit add, and it's going to automatically put them in the pipeline. Add to automation. Pretty self-explanatory. Give it the action name. Select the workflow that they're going into. I want to put them in here. And then you go ahead and add them to the automation. This is just manual ways of doing things. You can do multiple contacts at one time, or you cannot. This is a manual way to send out a bulk SMS, send out email, add a tag, remove a tag, delete, send review requests. This is specific if you have Google reviews integrated into the system. There are some other ways of doing reviews, but that's specifically the bulk ones that we use internally are for Google reviews. Import and export of contacts. I do a separate training on importing contacts, but there's a whole slew of ways of importing bulk contacts from CSV files. Company. If you're working with a company that has multiple staff members and you want to put all the staff members into the system, you can actually put the company in here and associate all the staff members with the company. Kind of a cool feature, but not something that I use too often. And then you can merge contacts. So if you have multiple contacts with the exact same name, email, for some reason they have multiple accounts, you can come over here and merge them. Just simply click this, click on the merge button, and go ahead, and the middle column is you select your master data that you want to merge, and go ahead and hit the merge, and you're done. Whew, that was a lot. I like to talk fast. I like to speed through these things, that way you're not sitting here for 10 minutes trying to watch a training. Okay, now let's talk about filtering. These are smart filters. So what happens is first you have to build the filter itself. Let me move my sexy face over here. Okay, so let's start with the filters themselves. The most common filter I would say is probably a tag. So we come over here and we go to tag. Go ahead and select one of them. Let's go ahead and do 7-day purchase. Hit apply. Okay, so we have one person with a 7-day purchase. This is how you do a general filter. Now what we have is we have smart lists. So smart lists all starts with the filtering process. Once you build a filter, you come down here and you click on Save Smart List. And we can put, purchased product, right? Go ahead and hit save. Now you're going to see the smart list appear over here. And that's all smart lists are, is the ability to save your filters. It's great for sharing them across your board, but actually getting data all in one spot really quick and effectively. As you can see, filters, there's a lot of them. You can kind of scroll through here and figure out what works best for you. The most common ones that I use are probably the tags, obviously. When we're setting up new client accounts, I also like to build a newsletter list. So what I'll do with the newsletter list, it will say is email is not empty. And I'll put email is valid. What that means is, actually, you can use this or not. What that means is the email has been validated. The problem is if you're not validating your emails, you might want to delete this one off of there, but you definitely want to make sure that it's not empty. And then what you do is you put in here and you'll put newsletter list, right? Another common feature for our newsletter list is the do not disturb. So you can put DND. Let's see, is not enabled for email. Okay, so now what that means is I'm seeing people who have an email and have not unsubscribed from my list. I'm going to save my thing. That way when you're sending out marketing emails, you have a dedicated list that already has that filtered for you. It's as easy as that. So I would definitely set that up in your system if you haven't already, but this is a great way to do that. One thing I will note is smart lists. It took me a while to figure this out. It was really annoying. Not everybody in your system can see this. If you have multiple team members in there, you need to come over to Smart Lists and you need to share them. I don't know if I like this feature, but it is what it is, right? Come over here and you have Share Smart List. You can come over here and select from the users in your system. Once you share it with everybody in the system, now everybody else can see the users that are actually in there. But until you do that, only you can see your Smart List. Just keep that heads up. Let's run through the last few things under here. So obviously we talked about Smart Lists a little bit. Bulk actions. This is where I was telling you the naming conventions. So when you come over here and you're doing the naming stuff, right here, the action name, this is what comes up in the bulk actions. So if you don't name it, it's the action name that comes up right here. And this is where you can see everything you executed. So if you added a tag to 200 people, that's going to be under bulk actions. If you imported 200 people, that's going to be under bulk actions. Bulk actions allows you to track everything that's done in a bulk action. I love this feature. This is great for seeing imports. If you're importing, 200 people and you're like, did it all work? I don't know. This will actually tell you if it actually worked. So it's great. I love it. Restore. You can restore contacts that were deleted. Pretty handy if you need it. Companies and tasks, not going to get into that today, but I did mention companies. You can come in here and set up companies if you want. And then you have smart lists. So that is my quick scenario run through of how the contacts work as a whole, what to look for in them, how to use them, and go from there. And we'll see you on the next training. Thanks for watching. I'm Andy, the co-founder of Automate Me. We're a digital marketing agency that helps entrepreneurs generate more leads and automate their business online. I hope this training gave you some valuable takeaways for using HighLevel. If it did, be sure to like and subscribe to Automate Me for more trainings and tips.